Good evening, Meenakshi. Thank you for joining in today's feedback session. How are you doing today?
Good evening, sir. Thank you. I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing great. So, Meenakshi, I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So, the first mock interview that we had, we are going to have a detailed analysis of every points. Today, we are going to cover the HR session. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And Govind sir will take over the technical session once he meets you. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Stack developers is at its peak in the industry. But how do you make the most of it?
Good evening, Meenakshi. Thank you for joining in today's interview. How are you doing today?
Good evening, sir. I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing good as well. Thank you for asking. So, Meenakshi, so the first good point that I would like to highlight here, that you were properly dressed. Okay, so it was means you were very serious about the interview. That's very means that was very clear and evident from the way you dressed. You were looking fresh. So these are some points that you need to keep always in mind. Okay, when you are coming for the interview, your video quality should be very good. Means there should be proper lighting on your face. Otherwise, that you won't have that good impact in the mind of the interviewer. So you see, these are all virtual sessions. Many people think that, okay, I'll come in any outfit, or I'll sit in the dark, or have a bad background, then I'll make it. But actually, these leaves an impression in the mind of the interviewer. So good job on that. Before we proceed, can you give a brief introduction about yourself?
Thank you, sir, for giving me the opportunity to introduce myself. So my name is Meenakshi Sharma. I am from Assam. Like I was born and raised in Assam, and I got married and I shifted here in Hyderabad. And I have approx 1 year of experience from Quadrant Resources Organization. And initially, like I joined as a web data analyst. Meanwhile, there was a requirement for manual tester, and I had some skills on that. So I got select. I applied and I got selected for manual testing. So I worked for like 7 months approx for manual testing. And my roles and my project was like UHRS. I worked for UHRS tool, and we just fine-tuned the queries asked like searched by the users, and based on that, like we had some landing pages, so we have to just check the credibility of the pages. Suppose for example, if I am searching for like capital of Delhi, and if I am getting the exact informations on that page, that means I had to mark that page as the excellent or good or perfect based on the credibility. And so that was my project, and my tool was UHRS, and I worked for Bing search engine optimization. And my roles and responsibilities for this project were like I was active in all the meetings and all, and I was working for both functional and manual testing. And so that's all about.
Okay, so your introduction was good. However, one thing which is very evident, that your rate of speech was very high. Means it
Yes, sir.
was going on, going on, going on, as if you were going to catch a train. So that is not required. Okay, so means you are tensed and nervous. That was evident when you were introducing yourself. Okay, because it's a first round, that will be there. But yes, you need to work on that. Try to be a bit calm. Okay, take some pauses. Then what will happen, it will make more stronger impact. The interviewer is going to relate with you whenever he is going to ask you questions. So whatever answers that you will be giving, the it should be that it should be in your mind that the interviewer should understand what I am saying. I was able to find out, but the thing that you mentioned, like I'll have to give good or excellent, it was not making any sense for me, because I was not able to relate to the project that you were saying. So you should give an idea of that project to me at first, that what is that project all about. So you can give an overview that in that project, my responsive not my responsibility, the project was mainly about this, wherein we had to determine this, and based on that determination I had to give an entry like excellent or good or bad. I am not sure exactly what you need to say, but yes, the overview you need to give at first, and then you need to say about your roles and responsibilities, which you did. But you did so fast that the interviewer would not have the chance to relate to those things. Okay, so
Yes.
that is the minor thing that you need to work on a little bit on your rate of speech, and else it was crisp and perfect. Okay, you, I think, missed out on your education qualification initially. right?
Yes, graduation part.
Right. You need to mention that I completed my BTech or BE from you in information technology, whatever stream you had in the year that, and after that you switch to your job, because that is something which is adding a value to your resume, right? Your degree. जिसके वजह से we spend so much amount of money, right? So if you're not
Yes.
saying it in your resume, then you are missing on that. So just ensure that you include that part, and rest were fine. That's great. So you mentioned that you worked there for 7 months as a tester, right?
Yes, sir.
So why did you leave the job?
Actually, I had some personal issues.
Mhm.
So at home, that's why just I left the job for that reason. And I was interested in manual testing as well. So meanwhile, I just pursued a course, manual testing
Mhm.
course from Downtown Coders. And
Mhm.
now, like after getting some more skills on that field, so I'm ready for the job.
So you have mentioned in your introduction you had been working on manual testing, right?
Yes.
So there is a contradiction that in the meanwhile, means after you left the job, you pursued the course, and I have my interest in manual testing. So what is happening? There is a contradiction that is quite clear, that there will be a question in the mind of the interviewer that whether you are working as a manual tester or you have learned manual testing by joining a course. Okay, so do not say this point over here. What you need to say that, see, this is a very uh, it will be an awkward question for the interviewer as well, that in 7 months no one leaves the job. Okay, but you have done. If you have done, then you need to have strong reason to justify yourself as well. So the first reason, definitely financial issue or personal issue, not financial issue. Tell that there had been some issues at my family, due to which I had to take a break in my career. But I was highly interested in the work that I had been doing. For that reason, I thought that right now, due to my personal problem, I had to take a break. But after the break, I'll definitely come and join the industry once again in the field that was for me. For that reason, I have once again I'm pursuing my dream to get into the industry. And in the meanwhile, I have developed many other skill sets. Together with the manual, I have also learned automation. And right now I am aware that exactly how what is happening in the industry. So this gap has not affected me in any sense, because I have constantly upgraded myself with different skills and technologies. So these are the points that you can say, but do not make this contradiction, because I was also thinking at that on that day, that what did you say? Okay, so you had been working as a manual tester, or you have learned manual testing later after resignation. So there was a this conflict of statements which you need to avoid,
Okay,
because
sir.
the interviewers are very smart. Okay, they will catch small details, and we cannot give any element of doubt in their mind. So for that reason, we need to be very careful.
But sir, I just wanted to highlight that in between
Mhm.
that gap, I by pursuing that course, I was just upgrading my skills.
Yes, so do not say manual testing. So manual
Yeah.
testing is something you had been doing. So you can say that I was into manual testing, but I have learned automation. I've upgraded
Okay.
my skill sets, or you can say I have learned different other tools like Jira, agile methodology, which was not getting used in your industry or in the industry that you had been working earlier. So that kind of things you can say. Avoid manual testing, because that is the basics of testing. Okay,
Yes, sir.
right.
Right now. And that problem is also sorted as well.
That's awesome. Good to know that problem is sorted. So I hope in future there won't be any other problem, so that so if you get selected today in today's session, today's interview, and in future if any problem arise, will you be switching or stopping your career or stopping your
No,
job?
sir. No, sir.
Okay.
Definitely, I'll be continuing as my family is also supportive in this
Mhm.
field.
Mhm.
So definitely, I'll be continuing my job.
So it's a very good point that you mentioned, that your issue has got sorted and right now you are pursuing your dream. So you can paraphrase this in a different way. You can say, since your communication is strong, you can use these kinds of phrases, like you can say that uh, I had the problem earlier, but right now it's all resolved. I am right now ready for the industry once again, because that stuff was a little bit of pause in my career, but not my determination. So definitely I am right now more focused, and I have upgraded myself and right now ready for the industry to work with. Okay, so you can paraphrase in a different way as well, but yes, you should show that you are very much interested and confident right now to get into the industry. That is important, else is
Yes,
fine.
sir.
Right. Why did you decide to apply to this role?
Manual testing, you mean?
Yeah.
uh, I believe that this role is a process oriented, and
Mhm.
like here we have to find bugs, and we are working from like preparing from the test scenarios, test plans, and also I love doing this part, and I was interested in this field. That's why I thought of choosing this as my career further.
That's awesome. So as you were mentioning that you like doing it, so what did you like most about the entire profile that you are building right now for you?
Uh, Yes, sir. Like this is a kind of analyzing profile. We
Mhm.
have to analyze, so we have to keen about the mistakes which we are making. So we have to prepare documentations. We have to read. The more we read the documentation, the more we'll get to know what
Mhm.
mistake is there. We'll try to understand the scenarios, preparing the test plan. So it's more into writing field, and also like basically we have to be very serious with the communication skill as well, dealing with the meeting scrum and all. So I just liked all the like parts which.
So the points that you have mentioned are good. So you have mentioned that you need to be focused, you need to be a good communicator. That those are the things I like. Attention to details is something which is very important. And at the end, the client should be satisfied with the quality of work that you are doing. Because if there is no quality, then definitely the work, the customers won't be satisfied with the product that we are going to deliver. So these are the skills that I think that I like the most, and I right now I am working on it to ensure that I develop more of these skills. So these are some of the things that I like about my profile and would definitely like to continue in my journey. So the points you have mentioned are absolutely on point, so good job on that. Yeah,
Thank you, sir. Which is indulged in this profile.
that's awesome. So can you highlight 3 points that you want to bring to my notice which will make this hiring easier for me? So this is a very, very typical question that will be asked during the time of interview, okay, for 1 or 2 years experienced. This is the point where you need to sell yourself, means at the best of your abilities, I should say. In interview, we sell ourselves, right? Simple
Yes,
funda. We will sell ourselves. Someone will pay for the job that we will be doing for them.
yes,
So these three qualities should be something that the interviewer should be very amazed to know. Okay, you should not highlight hard work, quick learner. These are some monotonous points that every one of the other guys, means out of 100, 95 people, 95 people will be saying this thing, that I am a hard worker, quick learner. Some out of the box thought process are very important. Let's see what you had mentioned on that day
3 points for.
for yourself.
Okay, so like with reference to my work potential and qualifications, like I strongly think that I am suitable for this position, as I am a hard worker and can go those extra miles to reach this requirement, and I am like I can satisfy the requirements, and I am a learner as well. So I have an attitude of learning new things. So whatever new arena I get to learn, so I learn that and I try to implement in my new project or new profile, like whatever opportunity I get to implement the new things.
That's great. So it was asked for 3 points. You mentioned about 2 points, right? Hard work and learner. So
Yeah.
1 point you missed. So if 3 points are asked, you need to mention 3 points. Okay. So it's good that you have mentioned hard work, stating that you want to go that extra mile. So that is a good point that you mentioned. Only if you had concluded with hard work, then it would not have made that impact. Quick learning what you have mentioned, not a quick learner, but you mentioned that you have the attitude to learn more, so
New
different
things.
technology, new things.
Yeah.
The third point what you can mention, that I already have an experience of 7 months, so I have made some initial mistakes and have learned from the mistakes. So definitely I won't be repeating that mistakes if I get an opportunity to work with your organization. So I can implement the things straight away from day one itself whenever a project is assigned to me. So I'm very sure that I would be able to excel on those things as well. So you can mention this point. So that is the point that is coming in my mind at the moment. So I'm going with the flow. So yes, always try to, the 2 points that you mentioned, you have justified it properly. For that reason, I will have to say good job on that. But you need to mention the third point because 3 points were mentioned. Okay. So quality analyst pays attention to the details. So you need to listen to the interviewer properly. Understand, acha 3 question manga hai. So 3 answers will be there. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So you mentioned that you are a hard worker and you like to learn new things, right? So what makes you different from the others? There might be hundreds that are waiting outside. What makes you different?
So, like whatever opportunity I get, like in my office, after completing 1 month after joining, so we have different market-based projects like UK, Australia. So initially, I was like working for Australia market. So based on my performance, and I was keen in learning new things. I was very active with interaction with my team lead. So based on that, I was shifted to another market-based project. So that is the Great Britain. So I feel like, yeah, if I have the capability to learn new things and I am interested in going further, learning more and interacting with my seniors, so that might help me in growing in growth.
So the main point is over here is your communication skill is good. So that is the point that you highlighted, that because of your communication that you had given and your learning attitude, you had been given the chance to work for Great Britain, right? So
Yes,
focus on that point, communication skill, because many people don't have this. Out of 10, 8 people might not be good in communication. So you have that in you. So highlight that point, because a tester needs to be a good communicator, because they need to communicate with the developers in many different ways. Okay, they need to convince many developers that these are the areas which are actually wrong. You need to revisit your code, which the developers might not like. So these are some much, this point is a very good point if you can highlight on your behalf. Okay,
yes.
that's true. So you mentioned that you were working in a project. So were you an individual contributor or you were working in a group?
I was working in a groups.
Right. So we tend to see that when we work in a group, there are different opinions, right?
Yes,
Because there are so many different mindsets. So at that time, we might have some arguments with some of our colleagues. So if such kind of scenario happens in your project, how you are going to handle that situation?
yes, sir. Definitely, if you're working in a group, so it might happen. Like such scenarios might create. So I believe in communication, because keeping those things aside, so whatever arguments you're facing or whatever issues with the project, so I'll be just communicating with my like lead or with whom I am facing the problem. I'll communicate and try to sort it out. So it should not get impacted. The work or the project should not get impacted. I will just keep that in mind. And apart from that, after solving the problem, and then again, we can continue working in a healthy way.
Beautiful answer. You have given the answer that most of the interviewers would be looking for, that you will communicate and ensure that the issue is getting resolved within the team. And also the point that you mentioned, that it should not affect the project or any other team members. It should not affect them. So very good points that you have mentioned. It's very clear you have watched our videos nicely and ensure that you keep those points in mind. Yeah.
Sure, sir.
That's great. What is your greatest achievement till date?
Sir, recent achievement I can say, like in academics I was good in school, and in sports also I was like I played badminton and table tennis, so I got appreciation for that as well. But recent one, like I come from a small village and I shifted here in Hyderabad. So the first day of my working, and there was no cab facility and I had to go alone. So with different modes of transportation like auto, train, metro and bus, everything. So initially I was scared, but I took that as an opportunity, like as a challenge. I went alone and came back alone. That day, like I patted my shoulder, like, yes, you can do it. So that was my achievement, I believe.
That's a very, very, very sweet point that you mentioned, because these are the areas where we can connect with the interviewer outside, means not formally, but informally. So very good job on that, because the point that you mentioned, it brought an immediate smile in the face of the interviewer as well. Okay, so very good job, because many people don't have that skill to talk something out of the context but still within the context. Okay, so good job.
Thank you, sir.
That's awesome. Great. uh, if you want to highlight any weakness that you have.
Yes, sir. It might sound silly, but yes, I have a habit of biting nails. So I think this is not a good habit. I'm trying to overcome it, so which might impact my health as well.
So weakness should always come with how you are overcoming it. So it's a good point that you mentioned that you are working on it. So good job on that. Yeah,
Thank you,
true.
sir.
Right. So suppose if you could start your career over again, what would you do differently this time?
The mistakes which I did earlier, so I will try to focus more on those to improve those mistakes wherever I was lacking, and try to just cultivate new skills, try to learn new things again, which will be helpful in
Mhm.
my career as well.
That's awesome. So it was the question that if you are given an opportunity to relive your life once again, right? I actually missed the question. Let me just go back a bit again. What? So suppose if you could start your career over again, what would you do differently this time? Okay. So yes. So the points that you mentioned are good. However, what you can say that people actually learn from the mistakes, right? So if we are not
Yes.
making those mistakes, we won't be able to learn. Someone won't be telling that mistakes, and someone should highlight that mistakes, or you need to face those mistakes. Only then you can overcome it. So you can say that I do not want to change anything because I have learned from my mistakes. I want to make those mistakes and ensure that yes, I learn it, because till the time I don't make any mistake, I won't be able to learn it. So I do not want to change anything if I have to relive my life once again or restart my career once again. But yes, on a different perspective, the uh, few things that could have been avoided, I will definitely try to avoid those things. So like, means you need to play with your words, though the answer that you have given is absolutely on point, nothing wrong with that. But yes, on a positive note, if you can say, then it's better.
Yes. The mistake that those mistakes wherever I was lacking, and try to just cultivate new skills, try to learn new things again, which will be helpful in
Mhm.
my career as well.
That's awesome. So how will you define success, if I have to ask you?
Sir, it differs from person to person's perception. For
Mhm.
me, success is like now I am in such a stage of like I have a big dream of getting into an industry. So if I like get a better company with,
Mhm.
so definitely that will be success for me. So a girl coming from a small village and they started working in an MNC. For me, this might be a success.
So an emotional tone as well. So good point. Nice, nice. It's an art how you present yourself and how you sell yourself at different opportunities. So this was an opportunity for you to sell yourself and marketize yourself, that yes, I'm a girl from a small village, and right now I am pursuing my dream to get into the industry. So very good job on that, because I would also miss such kind of points if I am facing an interview. So many things I have also learned from you. So good job.
Thank you. So these are the true facts, not the
That's
made up
true. That's true.
stories.
That's true. Absolutely. It's quite evident from the voice that you are, like the way or the tone that you are using to represent yourself. It becomes very evident that whether it's a true story or a false story, even if it had been a false story, but the way you said convinced me. So that is more important rather than being a true story or false story. You need to have the ability to convince the person who's sitting in front of you to understand or make him or her realize that he or she is on the same page with you. So good job. Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
absolutely, it will be great. So where do you see yourself in the 5 years of time?
So in the next 5 years, just I see myself as a QA lead or a QA manager with different opportunities as
And what are the qualities of a QA manager do you think you possess?
First of all, like communication skill is important because he need to coordinate with the team. He or she like needs to coordinate with the team, and there should be a good rapport of the manager, like giving proper trainings or helping handle like whatever issues we are facing directly. We should be like free to go and approach him and ask him all the issues. So communications and good reputations among the teammates, which I believe.
Did you have ever have an experience of a bad manager or bad management?
Actually, my team lead was little strict. So when I was shifted from AU market to GB.
So this question was just to ensure that whether you are very positive kind of a very positive thinker, or you highlight negative things as well. And we need to be means we need to be very cautious that we do not highlight any negative points during interview. So here you started with a pinch of negative, but you managed to make it positive, stating that it actually helped you in the long run to be more focused. So that was a good thing that you had done. But in these kinds of questions, try to avoid or try not to be very honest. Okay, try to say that till date I had been it had been a great experience in the industry. I had been accompanied with very positive managers who had been motivating me throughout the journey. In fact, even when there was a time when I was not working, I had so much good relation with my seniors and my managers that they used to text me and guide me that these are the things that I should need to work on. So what will happen, this will give the interviewer to think that you have that kind of personality where people will like you, and not only like you, they will keep a healthy relation with you even after means you guys stay apart or move apart through different companies. So that's a good thing. Try to be not very honest, okay, in these kinds of things. Yeah.
Yes, market. So my
Mhm.
team lead, I already heard about him, like he's very strict. After like coming into his team, I was literally initially very strict, scared of him. But later I got to know that like that strictness was better for our learning. So the work was like we are completing the work on time and everything was perfect. He was very disciplined. So later I realized no, his strictness was one of the reasons for our learning, and we were like disciplined.
That's awesome. Good to know about you, Meenakshi. So I'm done with the HR round and we'll start with the technical round now. Right. So it was a very good first interview, Meenakshi, and I hope you are right now aware that exactly what were the areas of improvements. Though you had a good interview, but still there are a few chances wherein you can improve. Okay.
Yes, sir.
The next interview that we are going to conduct, it will be a bit tricky as well. So prepare yourself in that manner. So there will be many challenges that you will be facing throughout these interviews that you will be going through. And I think it will be a good learning curve for you.
Yes, sir.
So has this interview session helped you a bit?
Yes, sir, definitely. Helped me a lot.
What are the positive things that you would like to take from this sessions?
Whatever mistake I made, so I will try to improve all those and try to build up more confidence, and my speech, like rate of speech, will be reduced.
Right.
First, I will focus on that.
Right. Yeah, you do not have to work very hard because it's very natural in you. So you have worked hard because of which it's now sounds natural. Okay. There was a time when I was not able to, means I could not speak good English. I used to struggle a lot, but I have developed that skill over many years. Right now, whenever someone hears me, they say that you speak good. But actually, I did not used to speak good. I
It's
have developed
awesome,
that skill.
sir. Not only good, it's awesome.
No, you are also in that curve right now, learning curve. And right now you're sounding natural, but I know that how much hard work you might have done to come to this stage. So good job on that. And a little bit of
Thank you,
tweaks are
sir.
required. And when that's done, it will be just awesome. Okay.
Sure, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining in once again, Meenakshi, and we'll meet very soon in your next interview session.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.